In some places on Earth, the night sky still feels close. Here, across the wide landscapes of Central Asia, the stars seem almost within reach. For thousands of years, people in these lands have looked upward, sometimes in wonder, sometimes with questions. Some of those questions were written down, lines drawn across parchment, numbers placed beside the movement of stars. Observation slowly became measurement, and measurement became a way to understand the sky. More than 1,000 years ago, scholars from this region began to study the heavens in a new way. Among them was Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi. His work helped turn astronomy into mathematics. His ideas traveled far beyond Central Asia. Carried along the Silk Road, others followed. Among them, the astronomer Al-Farghani, whose writings describe the structure of the cosmos and the size of the Earth with remarkable precision for his time. Their ideas crossed deserts and mountains, not by rockets, but by books. Centuries later, the search for the cosmos reached Samarkand. Here, the ruler and astronomer Ulugh Beg built an observatory unlike anything the world had seen. With it, astronomers measured the positions of nearly 1,000 stars. And then, silence. For centuries, nothing moved. Until the 20th century. The return to the cosmos began with fire, rocket launch. In the middle of the 20th century, on the vast steppes of Kazakhstan, the Soviet Union built the world's first spaceport, Baikonur Cosmodrome. From here, in 1957, a small metal sphere changed the course of history. Sputnik, the first artificial satellite ever placed into orbit around the Earth. Just 4 years later, Baikonur would send the first human into space, Yuri Gagarin. His flight lasted only 108 minutes, but it marks the beginning of a new chapter in human history. For decades, the road to space passed through a single place, Baikonur. But the geography of space is changing. Across Central Asia, a new generation of space programs is beginning to emerge. Countries that once watched the space age from the ground are now beginning to build their own path into orbit. One of those stories begins here, in Uzbekistan. For centuries, people here looked at the sky to understand the world. Today, they are using it to change it. In 2019, Uzbekistan established its national space agency, Uzcosmos. For a country that had never operated a space institution before, the task was not simply to launch satellites, it was to build an entire system from the ground up.
That decision essentially marked the beginning of the space industry in Uzbekistan. At that time, there were many questions. The media, the public, even government institutions were asking, what exactly will this agency do? Does Uzbekistan really need a space program?
At the beginning, there were few specialists and little infrastructure. The challenge was not only technological, it was also a question of priorities. Why should a developing country invest in space?
5 years of our activities in the space agency, from scratch when we started it in 2020 when this team was formed. This is actually the 5th year, a full 5 years of our activities. We can openly say that we've passed so-called stage 1, the formation of the industry. If you look back, you can see that space agency, generally the space industry of Uzbekistan, we started from finding ourselves, right? In this high competitive world with such a big players and a very difficult situation, it was very tough to understand where the space in Uzbekistan should be and why actually we should be doing this space, because as an emerging countries we have a lot of different problems to be faced in the social and economical sectors. But even though our president has signed this decree of opening this space agency, which was truly strategically strong vision. And after this 5 years, we can say that this decision was totally right.
One of the first things we did was to turn to our neighbors and our friends. Among them was Azerbaijan. At that time, the head of Uzcosmos welcomed us very warmly. They shared their experience with us and explained what mistakes should be avoided, especially for a developing country.
In Uzbekistan, the space program did not begin with rockets. It began with data. Satellite imagery allows scientists to observe the country in a completely different way, from above, across deserts, cities, and farmland.
What we have achieved so far, the space has become the real part of our life, daily life. There is none of the governmental entity which doesn't know what is the space, why the space should be used. And when we're talking about the space, it's not about the astronaut or the satellites. We are talking about the data. We are talking about the help which space can deliver to us, to our common people, to economical industries.
Uzbekistan is one of the most heavily irrigated agricultural countries in the world. In this dry region, water is everything. Nearly 90% of the country's water resources are used by agriculture. Managing land and water at this scale requires constant monitoring, and that monitoring increasingly comes from space.
For example, in agricultural fields, we are working on classification and constantly monitoring of the crops like wheat and cotton, which is directly helping to the country, to the agriculture ministry, to see, to forecast and to act on a different level of speed in a country with an increasing problem with the water as a supply. And you see that 90% of water is used in agriculture. We need to be very careful with this one. For this, you cannot use devices to count how much water is delivered. The only way is to use different technologies. And we presented the space data as alternative source of information.
We are in Tashkent, inside the Uzcosmos building. On this floor, different branches of cartography come together in one space. Specialists here work with satellite maps for seismology, ecology, geology, forestry, landscape analysis, land use and water management. These maps are used to monitor land changes, verify construction dates, assess environmental risks and manage natural resources. In a country like Uzbekistan, where water and land are both critical, accurate mapping is essential. Satellite imagery turns what happens on the ground into data that can be measured, monitored and planned for.
From above, these changes appear as patterns. On the ground, they can mean loss or survival.
I use satellite data to transform complex space technologies into robust, practical solutions. I specifically am currently working on evapotranspiration modeling for water management and agriculture.
We always look for such kind of opportunities in space sector where Uzbekistan can become like a technological developed country. We could also start our space program with launching satellites, installing ground stations with the infrastructure, for example. Yeah? But we saw a really good opportunity in space applications where we can use the space data, analyze it, process it, and to bring value-added products into the market, into the government.
Uzbekistan is one of the youngest societies in Central Asia. More than 60% of its population is under the age of 30. In recent years, universities across the country have opened new engineering and technology programs. For many students, space technology is no longer something distant.
Here in Uzbekistan, we involve mostly youth for all these events, and we are also organizing a lot of events for them as well. For example, I can mention the project of CANSAT, UNISAT, which is like developing small satellites together with the youth, involving as well as the young girls.
One of our flagship projects is the CANSAT program. We have trained more than 500 young people from across Uzbekistan free of charge. From them, 120 participants reached the final stage and launched their own small CANSAT satellites on rockets.
For years, space here was about observation, about data, about solving problems on Earth. But now it is beginning to look beyond it.
The president announced that we will start to work on the astronaut program. It will be like a first national Uzbek astronaut, and then as well as our Earth observation satellite constellations.